But then you understand, I understand that there's a spirit realm. I've always understood that because of things that I've seen with my own eyes and heard with my own ears. I always knew that there was a spirit realm. I did not understand exactly the fullness of how the spirit realm actually works. A lot of times we talk about the workings of the kingdom of God, but we're very ignorant to the structure and the actual system of the kingdom of darkness. Because just as there's order and structure to the kingdom of God, there is an order and a structure to the kingdom of darkness. We'll touch on that more next season, because I think that's actually very important to understand. Anyway, watched the movie. I was like high-key terrified, and I think I was terrified because just the spiritual, it was like stirring something in me, and I was like, this is making me uncomfortable.
It was that spirit of fear that tried to latch on you. That's
what
that was.
Let me tell you, because something latched on to me, actually.
Okay.
That night, I remember I already went in, and I was like, I had a cold. I'll never forget that. I had a cold, right? It was like a sniffles, right? I will say that. It started as a sniffle. And I remember I went home that evening. My parents didn't know where I went. I went home that evening, and I was in my room. I fell asleep, and I remember at some point I had fallen asleep with the lights on, and not because I was scared, but I fell asleep doing something, and the lights were on. And I remember I woke up, and I was like trying to call my mom for some reason, because I was actually like terrified when I woke up about something. I don't remember what. And I remember that I was like calling her, and then I'm like, she's not listening. Now I think, to make this like abundantly clear, I was in my room in Hillside at the time, and my room was right outside of the kitchen, and my mom was in the kitchen. And I'm calling her, and she's not coming. There's zero ways my mom would not have heard me, just because of the proximity, right? And so now I'm like becoming panicked, because I'm like, why can't she hear me? Because I can hear her, and I'm calling her, and I mean nothing. And at this point, I'm yelling. In my mind, I'm actually yelling, right? And still nothing. And then I try to get out the bed. And when I go to get out the bed, like, let's say like somebody's playing, right? And they're like, their hands are over your shoulders. Like, no. I mean, like, imagine like someone's hands coming forward, like over my shoulders, right? But then they put their hands like this over your neck and kind of drop their weight. Nope. And I'm trying to walk out the bed, and I feel this heaviness on my body, and it was causing me to walk like I couldn't move more. When I tell you, I was horrified, and I was like, I couldn't. It felt like somebody was
trying to strangle you.
My voice, like I didn't have a voice, and I just remember I was like Jesus, like I just started saying Jesus, because I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I am certainly under attack, and I'm like, my mom can't hear. I was freaking out, and instantly it just lifted. And after that, I was like, say less. I have never watched that movie. I don't have a desire to watch that movie. I don't think I have ever watched any movies that were similar in nature, because then I started looking at what happened to the people who played in that movie and other movies similar, like the Emily Rose movie, the Poltergeist. And you recognize that there is a portal that is open. And even if that portal is fear, right? It's fear. And then that thing can grow into, and that for me it was a fearfulness of the spirit realm that I didn't know or understand fully about at that time, and I was like, oh no, I ain't never watching that movie again, and then I was so mad at myself. I was like, why not just listen? Heartache, self-behind, but after that, I was like, you know what, I understand now why, my parents were always talking about watching what you see, watching what you hear, watching your mouth, right? Like watching where your feet even go.